to welcome you back to Seeking God's Heart. Today I want us to talk about online game addiction. One of the first online games I ever played on the internet is a simple card game where you have to stack cards in order in the fewest possible moves. I'm sure many people know it, and it does seem pretty harmless. There was a time I used to play this game a lot. Any opportunity, any free time, any device. And I soon became an expert, spending more time each day on this game. It kept me busy and provided an opportunity for distraction. And you do know that distraction is one of the ways we sometimes deal with challenges in life. Then one day, I remember this very clearly. I was rounding up a winning game when I heard God's voice soft in my heart. He said, "Dupe, I don't like you playing this game." I was taken aback, as I never really thought that it mattered to God at all that we play these games. But I understood that this was a caution for me to stop. I whispered back to God and I said, "I've heard you. I won't play it again." I said that and I really meant it. But you know what? That was the beginning of trouble. The next day I got into my car, I picked up my phone, and as I was browsing through the phone, somehow I heard this game calling to me, "Play me, play me, play me." And I did. I was halfway through the game when I realized that I shouldn't have. But you know what again? I finished that game and then I said, "Just one more time." This repeated itself, and I found myself back in the flow of playing the game as I used to before. That was when I realized all of a sudden that I was addicted. I thought it was a harmless game, but the hold it had on me wasn't harmless. "Lord, help me," I cried. It wasn't easy, but eventually I realized I was fighting a craving, and God helped me to overcome. Now, online games, computer games, video games, games on your phone, they come in different types and varieties. Some are calm, some are violent. But one thing is that they actually occupy your mind and they occupy your time. They stay with you, and even when you close your eyes, sometimes you still see them on the screen, playing on the screen of your inner eyelids. There's this game that has colored cubes and they fall and you have to stack them in at the bottom. That one, I've experienced it. When you go to bed, you still see those cubes falling. Almost everybody I know thinks that these games are harmless. But I had my suspicions after God spoke to me and I took time to observe. That's when I realized that online games and video games can become an addiction very quickly once you start to play them. And the fact is that they are designed to be addictive. The creators of these games are business people, and your addiction is the way they make their money. Have you noticed that the games are never ending? And sometimes all you want to do with your life is just to get to the next level. How can you know you're addicted? It's the first thing you think of when you have a spare moment. Or you're told by everybody to stop or slow down, but you don't care. It's when you would rather play and keep on playing than eat. Sometimes you would rather play than study or even spend time chatting with family. And it's when what happened to me also happens to you. When you hear the voice of this game calling you, "Play me, play me, play me." It's when you can go on for hours and hours without stopping. So why doesn't God like it? The number one thing we need to realize is that most online and video games add absolutely no value to your life, and they're therefore a waste of time. Time is one of the most productive gifts that God has given us. And what you make of your life depends a lot on what you do with your time. There are probably a few exceptions. A few games that are academic, An example is Scrabble. It teaches new words. Chess, it teaches strategic thinking, and maybe a couple of others. But the main reason is that the games compete with the time you can spend with God. I think that's the number one reason why God doesn't like it. Time you can spend praying, reading your Bible, studying, spending time with real human beings, and even developing social skills. Sometimes, can you even picture God? We're very busy people. So can you picture God waiting every day for you to complete your daily assignments like school, office, homework, eating, taking care of the kids? And you come back later at night and God is thinking, so she's free now, we can spend some time together. And the next thing you do is you fish out your phone and you play a game and then you fall asleep. I really wonder how God feels. Let's just say that addiction in any form is bad. They're what we call very serious addictions, but online gaming can be a big addiction. And to know how serious it is, there are actually some game addiction rehabilitation centers today to help people who cannot stop by themselves. Finally, I want to give a word to parents. Children these days are finding it very difficult to separate a virtual life from their real lives. Some of these games take your kids into a virtual world you cannot even begin to understand. Here they live alternate lives, they build houses, they get jobs, and I've seen games where they actually get married. With some, they have to contend with demons, they fight creatures, they take on alternate personalities. The fact is that most of these video games mess up with your children's minds. Any wonder they suddenly find studying a bore, or they suddenly become rude or violent. Please don't turn a blind eye to the effect that these games can have on your children. You have spare time. You could use it for something more useful than playing a game or spending so much time playing these games. Build a family. You could learn a new language. Spend time with loved ones. Spend time with your parents. Spend time with your children. Study for a degree. Read the Bible. Memorize Psalms. Pray. God is a jealous God. He noticed those games were dividing my attention away from Him. That's why I had to speak up. And I know He feels the same way about you too. God bless you. This is still Seeking God's Heart. For more videos, please subscribe to this channel by clicking on the link below.